South of Winchester, the land rises into a patchwork of chalk fields, woodland and old farm tracks, a landscape shaped slowly over the centuries. Our route starts in Upham, following quiet lanes through Baybridge and Lane End before climbing Salt Lane toward Beauworth. A short journey on the map, but one rich in history and character. Leaving the quiet village of Upham, we set out through the heart of the Hampshire countryside. This stretch has changed little in the centuries, narrow lanes lined with hedgerows that once marked the boundaries of the ancient farmsteads. We are deep in classic Hampshire countryside, twisting lanes shaded by ancient oak and hazel, the kind of roads built long before anyone thought of centre lines or speed limits. These routes once linked scattered farms and charcoal burners working the edges of the South Downs forest. The chalk beneath our wheels fed Winchester's lime pits and brick kilns for generations. As we wind up toward Lane End, the hedgerows close in and the tarmac ripples like an old ribbon. It's the sort of road you ride by feel. Quiet, timeless, barely wide enough for two tractors to pass. To the west across the fields lies Osselbury, a doomsday village with roots going back nearly 1,000 years. Farmers here once drove sheep and cattle along these same lanes towards the markets in Alresford and Bishop's Waltham. Set just off Longwood Dean Lane near Upham, Blackdown House and Blackdown Farm sit on high chalk ground overlooking the surrounding valleys. Blackdown House is a historic country residence, once part of a larger rural estate, while Blackdown Farm served as its working heart, the place of fields, livestock and everyday farming life. The names reflect the old landscape here, Black Down, meaning dark, wooded, high ground. These two properties are reminders of the area's long agricultural past, when estates and farmsteads shaped the rhythm of the life on the South Downs. Up ahead, the rise brings us to Lane End, a crossroads that's seen centuries of travellers, from drovers and smugglers to Sunday bikers, out for a clear head and a clean view. And now we ease into Lane End, not a village, but a small settlement shaped by the land itself. The houses here stand where farm cottages and barns once clustered around the drove roads that crossed this ridge. For centuries, livestock would have passed through here on their way to the markets at Bishop's Waltham and Alresford. You can still read the history in the buildings. Flint walls with brick edging, pitch roofs built to withstand against the southwesterly weather. These were working homes, tied to the surrounding fields and the old estates at Preshaw and Beauworth. There's no grand story here, just the slow, steady life of the downs, fields and hedgerows, and the quiet rhythm of the farming folk. Lane End has always been a place you pass through, but it's no less part of the landscape for that. Riding through Lane End, you get that sense of the old ways still sitting close beneath the tarmac. These lanes weren't drawn by the planners, they were worn into the chalk by hooves, carts and boots, following the natural folds of the land. If you look at the hedgerows on either side, some of these are hundreds of years old. Hawthorn, field maple and hazel, planted and laid to hold livestock in, and now they hold the shape of the lane itself. That's why the road feels like it's grown out of the ground rather than built on top of it. The fields to either side once belonged to the tenant farms under the big estates. Up here it was the Pressure estate to the east and the farms rolling down towards Osselbury to the west. Families worked the same ground for generations, lambing in the spring, cutting hay in the summer and ploughing when the weather allowed. Even the bends tell a story. They follow the old drove lines, routes where the sheep and the cattle were moved across the downs heading for the markets on foot. A farmer could walk his stock from here to Winchester in a day, if he left before sunrise. And still this stretch keeps it quiet. No signage shouting for attention, no wide verges, no straightened motorway vision, just a narrow chalk lane shaped by time, used by whoever needs to pass. And now we turn onto Salt Lane, the old ridge road that runs between the high ground of Beauworth and the farms towards Osselbury. This track has been here for longer than the tarmac, before the traffic signs, before fencing, and before maps even agreed where villages began and ended. Salt Lane was part of the drovers' route across the downs. Cattle and sheep were moved this way on foot, taken slowly towards the markets. A day's walk, steady, no rush, and the road still holds that pace if you let it. If you look across the hedgerows, you'll see the long open sweep of chalk upland, pale soil and big sky. It's the South Downs rolling away. It's honest land, weather-shaped, the kind of place where work was physical and time moved with the seasons. Just up ahead, tucked into the rise, is the Milbury, a 17th century inn built of flint and brick, warmed by fireplaces and stories. It has stood here for more than 300 years, welcoming shepherds, riders, farmhands and locals, and now us, rolling in from Upham.